friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today I'm extremely excited to announce the 20th anniversary of the Sony PlayStation. I woke up this morning and I turned on my Facebook and I completely had forgotten that it's been 20 years, and there's tons of news feeds and things on Twitter as well on the wonderful 20th anniversary in Japan. Now, it didn't come out in North America until September of 1995, but it actually came out near the end of 1994 in Japan, and thank God it did, because it's brought so many wonderful memories. Now, I had the Super NES and got this, I think, in '92 or so, about a year after it came out, and I had like a stack, 30 inches high of games for it, and I thought this was awesome. I mean, I love my Commodore 64 and the games on it, but I thought the graphics and the sound on the Super NES was really where it was at, but I was looking for more. And then on MTV, late at night, Friday nights, they started showing ads for the Panasonic 3DO. Mind-blowing 3D worlds and graphics of racing games and carnage and shooters and just all kinds of new fantasy worlds that were represented with this wonderful Panasonic 3DO. The only problem was it was a lot of money. It was over $700 at the time, which was a tremendous amount of money. So I started saving my money for it. I really wanted to get it. I said, I'm going to have to put aside some of my plans for some of my cars and just allocate money for it. And I think I saved for like 6 or 7 months, quite a while, and it started a little fund for it. And then I'd have to dip into it for car repairs or something, but I would have kept reinstating the fund and saving my money back up for it. Well, eventually, I met my present wife in 1995. We got together. I was kind of a rough time financially. I still had some money in savings, but I was between jobs. So I left my apartment that I had. I moved in with my wife. We had a little 20-inch TV, and I brought my Super NES over, and we had a blast playing games on it. But I was telling her, I said, man, I can't wait to get this new Panasonic 3DO. It's going to be amazing. Finally, I got to show her one of the TV commercials for it. But at the same time, we started seeing commercials for the new PlayStation. And I had never seen anything like the commercials for the PlayStation. I started rethinking my plans for the Panasonic 3DO. So, well, God, now there's another a new game system in town. And I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to think of which one is going to have the best games for me. So I remember I finally got a big deposit on a job. A big deposit. And we went down, I bought a brand new, we had a 20-inch TV I had at the time. It was a JVC, it had built-in stereo and everything, but I wanted a bigger TV for the same time that I got my game system. So I went out and spent like $2,500 at the time. That was a lot of money. It'd be like spending, probably $10,000 or more today for this crazy TV. It was a 35-inch Hitachi Ultravision TV. It'd be like spending probably $7,500 today for a TV, which is crazy. And I had money saved up for that. I bought that, and I said, we'll get enough money, we can get the Panasonic 3DO. So I went down on a Friday night when I got the deposit, and the PlayStation 1 had been out, I think, just a couple days. It came out earlier that week, but I had to wait till Friday until I got this deposit. And we went down to the Orange Mall in Orange, California. I was kind of new to that area. It was kind of my wife's area. And she said, well, I think there's an EB Games in there. We'll just go down there and we'll just get the whole setup and get some games. And I was excited. We had our new TV all set up. I couldn't wait to get my Panasonic 3DO. But at the same time, I saw these Sony PlayStation commercials, and I go, I want to see it. I want to see what they have in the way of games. Well, surprisingly, many of the games were the same. Now, I don't have it here, but they have the Need for Speed game for both systems. They also had Return Fire for both systems as well. Now, this was the original cover that I actually cut out with a razor blade of the tall box that I had, and I made my own jewel case for it. This is going for like $350 and up on eBay now for the PlayStation 1. But I started looking at the games, and many of them were the same. They had like Shockwave Assault. I don't have the original tall box anymore, but I bought this for the tall box as well shortly after. But so many of the games had the same, kind of like how they have the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 now. They have, many of the multi-plat games. But it was hard to really decide. And then I saw this Twisted Metal box. Now, this isn't the original one. I found this last summer. But I started looking at this. It says on the back, you are what you drive. And I'm looking at it, I go, man, I love cars. And I said, the Panasonic 3DO doesn't have this. Look at this, Twisted Metal. And I go, what is it? It shows all these myriads of strange cars with weapons on them. And we'd all fantasized, living in LA as I did at the time, about what it'd be like to have, mini guns on your car and rocket launchers. And I'm looking at this, and it shows all these combat pictures of car combat, and including a first-person view behind the dash, behind the steering wheel. And I go, I'm going to have to get the PlayStation. This is what put me over the top. I had planned and saved for the Panasonic 3DO, but I threw the towel and bought the PlayStation because I wanted to play this Twisted Metal. So I bought this, an extra memory card. Now this is one of the newer style controllers, but I had an original controller, bought a second controller, and I think 4 games. It came out to a whopping $729 back then. I think the games are like $50 a piece. And I bought Agile Warrior in the tall box, which again I found at a yard sale for like $1 last year in the original tall box. This game, I bought the original Road Rash in a tall box, which I cut the label down on the manual as well and made my own little deal, which I donated to Classic Game Room. Then I found another one last year. But the original ones were actually in a tall box. And then I also bought Return Fire. So I had all 4 of these games and the PlayStation for $729. I mean, that'd be like paying 3 times that today. Can you imagine? Going out and buying a console and spending a couple $1,000s for a console. I mean, you could probably get a great gaming PC, Alienware deal or something for that now. But anyway, that was what really prompted me, and I was just mesmerized. And frankly, when I got home and started playing these, it was within a matter of weeks, like a month, I gave my nephew my Super NES and all the games to it. I didn't care. I wasn't into retro gaming. I was into what was new. And I loved the games, like I said, on the Commodore and the Super NES were immersive and fun and in wonderful memories. But something about the PlayStation, of all the consoles that I've had, I had the most fun around this system. Part of it was, meeting my wife at the, shortly before we bought this. We had so much fun taking turns, playing Road Rash, the original Road Rash, for hours on end. We loved the music. We loved the laughing that we had as we knock each other off the bikes, take turns playing this, and then playing Twisted Metal and split screen. And then I had a couple good buds that would come over, and we would spend hours and hours and hours playing split screen on the couch of the original Twisted Metal. I mean, every single car, and we couldn't believe how cool it looked as you're driving from behind the dash view and you're seeing the missiles coming at you and everything. It was so incredible. So much fun on the couch. Agile Warrior was one of the first games that I had for the system that you could actually burn your own CDs in here and play your own soundtracks, which was unheard of at the time. This was a wonderful arcade game. I really love Agile Warrior. F111 it was called, and it was a fantastic game. So one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games to this day. So that's how it started off. And back in the early days, they had the tall box with this little corrugated edge, which made it interesting. So they were substantial, and the 3DO had their own kind of tall box variations as well. Then shortly after, they bought, I kept going back like every week and buying new games. Then they came out with a tall box. It was smooth, but they imprinted the little corrugated edge. And this is my Destruction Derby, which I bought, fairly new at the time. It was a couple weeks after it came out. I had a wonderful time with this. A little bit later, we had Twisted Metal 2 came out, which with the split screen, and this was absolutely amazing. There's just like a quantum leap. So you were seeing rapidly every year new games coming out that were fantastic. So I love this Twisted Metal 2. I had bought Shockwave Assault in the tall box, which was also in the Panasonic 3DO. A fantastic game. This reminded me very much of Wing Commander, which I loved on the Super NES quite a bit. And Destruction Derby 2. The graphics are even better on that. The Alien Trilogy, which I'm dying to get. I want to find an original box for this. And then Loaded. I love this. Now this is I think I might have had this on a tall box. I'm not sure. But this Loaded game was one of the first really fun, gory games that I played at the time. Now, I don't have the original Need for Speed, which I bought within the first couple of weeks of buying my PlayStation. But I had the original Need for Speed 1 in the tall box and played the hell out of it. I'm looking for another one of those if I can find it in the tall box. This is Need for Speed 2. Another fantastic game. I don't have the original Jet Moto, but I love Twisted Metal, and when I found out that Single Track was making the new Jet Moto, and it had this Dick Dale surf music, and I just loved the graphics. Wipeout was another one that I had, absolutely loved. So I'm slowly getting a lot of these old favorites back. Many other games, Soviet Strike, I love that. I found this recently, Nuclear Strike. These are wonderful. I put so much time. I mean, I probably played my PlayStation, I would say probably 3 times more than I played my PlayStation 4 now. I was really into gaming at the time. R4, Ridge Racer Type 4, another fantastic game. I played the living hell out of this. I absolutely love this to death. Ridge Racer. Still love the franchise today. And then later on we got the wonderful Gran Turismo 1, and then finally Gran Turismo 2, which really revolutionized racing games on the PlayStation. And I thought that nothing could really top this. I couldn't believe that they could really come up with something with better graphics than this, but I had faith in Sony. So I had a lot of faith with their Sony products in the way of stereos and headphones and things like that, but I wasn't sure about them initially for a gaming console. But I had, like I said, I had faith in the company, and I had already invested so much time with a Panasonic 3DO that I had to pick and choose. And of course I'm glad I made the right choices. The Panasonic 3DO was fizzled out. It's had issues and problems, and I still would love to have one today to kind of have some of my favorite games for that system, as they are kind of rare and kind of cool. I love the way they look, the industrial design. But this is, in fact, this is like the 6th one I've had, or this would make number 7 over here. I've had 7 of these PlayStation 1s. I mean, that's how serious time that I put into them. I bought my daughter one as well. She loved it. Later I bought the PlayStation 2 and bought her a PlayStation 2 as well. But I've been very loyal with the Sony products. Of course, once I found the original Xbox, things changed. I started buying a lot of Xbox games. But early on, you can't beat for the kind of excitement that I got when I brought this and unboxed this and played it for the first time with that opening little theme, that little jingle sound that they had with the PlayStation logo on the black screen that would appear, and just the good times that we had. And even though I started collecting a bunch of games early on, it was those early games like Road Rash and the very first Twisted Metal that really made the biggest impact on me. And I knew I made the right choice because of the games and the exclusives that they had for the PlayStation console. Later I got favorites. This quickly became my favorite PlayStation 1 game, probably of all time, is Duke Nukem Time to Kill, followed by Land of the Babes a little bit later. This is one of my absolute favorites. I've probably played this more than any other PlayStation 1 game and still love it today. The controls are a little awkward trying to get back into it today. In fact, Mark Bussler was going to review this, and he said that because you only have so many lives, once you use up all the lives, you have to start the game over. He used up too many lives, and he goes, dude, I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to have to replay the game all the way from the beginning because I used up all my lives. So the review's going to be, unfortunately, pushed back. I said, don't worry about it. I remember the game well. It was pretty tough. But Duke Nukem Time to Kill, another fantastic, probably my favorite game for the PlayStation 1, amongst many others. Road Rash certainly was one of them as well. When the wonderful Road Rash 3D came out, now the polygons were getting much more serious, much more real, and I started to wonder just how far they could push the PlayStation 1 when I saw the kind of graphics for, on a game like Road Rash 3D. A little bit later, they had Road Trip that was made by the same company that did Twisted Metal, which I don't have here. I'll have to find that one. And then they came up with a wonderful Critical Depth from Single Track as well, GT Interactive. A wonderful game where you're kind of underwater, kind of like a car combat game, but with little mini submarines, wonderful atmospheric music. You go down too deep, your hull gets crushed. A fantastic game, highly recommended. The wonderful little platformer game Gex. I love games like this. Makes the PlayStation 1 to me what it is today. I have the fondest memories for it. So when I woke up and I saw the 20th anniversary of this new PlayStation, of the PlayStation 1, I'm sorry, and then they're showing a brand new special edition of the PlayStation 4, which you can get. It kind of has the light gray and PlayStation 1 colors. and the little colorful PlayStation logo on it. I'd love to get one. I don't know how expensive they're going to be or how quickly sold out they're going to be. I'm going to look into it. But if I could get one, I've never liked the white PlayStation 4, but I really love this brand new PlayStation 4 and the little retro, throwback, colors and little themes that it has. It looks pretty cool, so we'll see. Later on, and I mentioned this before, I had a horrific car crash and was stuck at home for 5 months. When I left the hospital, I was going to the hospital virtually every day, and physical therapy. Was in really rough times. And by then, the wonderful Driver game came out. And then later, a year or so later, Driver 2. And these games got me through some hard times. So I was living at my mother-in-law's house. She had a little 20-inch TV in her guest room upstairs. And I brought my PlayStation 1 and hooked it up. And she could hear the cars, this constant screeching tires. And she goes, "It sounds like a whirlwind in your room in there. What is that noise?" So I showed her the original Driver game, my mother-in-law. And then she knew what all the screeching was, as the cars were always screeching, the tires around the corners. But this got me through some hard times. And the PlayStation 1 is just, of all the systems, it had the biggest impact on me. Even more so than the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3, or even the PlayStation 4, as much as I love it. So let me hear what are your favorite games. What were your finest memories? Some of you are younger, some are older like I am, but many of you had a PlayStation 1 early on, and you can still get them today. I mean, they've got a little mini one now that they've got, which I've seen. Now, I typically play many of my games on the PlayStation 2, all these PlayStation 1 games, and they play wonderful. That way I can use my component cable setup, and the quality looks pretty good. But do you use your PlayStation 1 today? Do you have fond memories of it? Let me know in the comments what you think about it after 20 years. It's hard to believe 20 years have come and gone. It still is a wonderful console, and they still work. Both of these still work great today. That's a testimony to how well these consoles were designed, engineered, and put together and made, which is impressive. So I love my PlayStation 4, but if I had never had this, I probably wouldn't have a PlayStation 4 today. My trust in Sony and faith in Sony has been pretty good. They're just companies. They all let us down with unfinished products, or there's problems and glitches and hacking on the PlayStation Network. I know all that, but still, the wonderful memories, and there was a big storm outside. We had tremendous rains here in San Francisco and Sacramento, so I'm watching all the leaves swirling around outside. But wonderful memories of this. I'm proud to put this little episode out. I'm excited that 20 years has come and gone. It reminds me, really, of the wonderful memories that I had forgotten until this morning. And I've seen some other wonderful compilations of rare hidden gems in the PlayStation 1. And everyone has their favorite games in the PlayStation 1. But let me know about yours. What were your favorite games? What were the games that, if you could collect them and have them today, that you'd like to have back and try to relive those memories for that PS1 all over again? I'd love to know. So thanks for watching, guys. These were my memories of the PlayStation 1. I'm excited for anyone that will be fortunate enough to have one of these new PS4s with that theme, that light gray theme and everything. I think is fantastic. They look really cool. I'm going to be definitely checking into that. So thanks for watching. Enjoy your games, your Xbox games, your PlayStation games, or your old Sega Genesis games. It's all good fun. And it's what all of us love about gaming, is that it's a smorgasbord we can all enjoy, we can look back on, and we can look forward to the things in the future that the gaming companies have in mind for us. So thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy your games no matter what they are.